Hello. Today we're going to answer the question, if you've been thinking about this functional fitness stuff, you want to get started, you've heard it's good for you, you're thinking about making functional fitness part of your routine, but you're asking the question, what equipment should I start with? And I'm going to answer that, it doesn't matter. Work with whatever you have. We're going to talk about some of the options available. We're also going to talk about even making your own equipment and some options that are available on that side. Stick with me, we'll get there. My name is Chris Butterworth. This is the Healthy Butter Fitness channel. And this is the place where we talk about functional fitness. We talk about being in our 50s and 60s and fighting off the effects of Father Time every day, every step of the way, and using functional fitness to do it. I'm 56 years old and I feel great. When I was 50, I did not feel great. And I've conquered chronic lower back pain. I had lower back pain for a few years, rotator cuff issues, elbow issues, and kettlebells, clubs, Mace, and the right program and consistent effort, and it works. It's actually magic. Makes you feel young again. And this is a channel where we talk about how to do that. So let's go back to that original question. You're moving towards functional fitness as a way to live better. You've seen enough stuff online. You've heard enough people talk about it. The story that I just told, somebody had a shoulder issue and it's better. Somebody had a back issue and it's better. And you believe in functional fitness. What I want to impart, what I think is really important to talk about, is functional fitness is not a one-time thing. You don't do a kettlebell workout and you're cured. It really is a commitment. You're going to realize success over time, but there isn't really a finish line. We want to fix ourselves in our 50s and our 60s. We want to feel good in our 70s and our 80s, even our 90s. When you get a chance to retire, when you travel, when you do stuff with your family, being able to do work around the house, living independently the older you get. Like, all of these things are critical to making our life as good as possible. And you don't do that without the long term. So it's not like you achieve your goal, you fix your back, and then you can quit and go back to your bad habits. With this functional fitness stuff, this functional fitness mamba jamba that people are talking about, it really is a way of life. You're choosing discipline as part of your lifestyle, and you're choosing to do this daily. Whether it's something as simple as stretching and moving throughout the day, or whether it's really hitting your kettlebell workouts, whether you do them every day or 3 days a week or whatever it is, as you add this to your program, and you don't have to quit. If you're going to the current gym now, you don't have to quit going to the gym. You just add functional fitness on top of it. For me, functional fitness replaced everything else, and it's all I do. It's enough cardio, it's enough strength, it's enough strength endurance, it's flexibility, it's movement patterns. It gives me everything that I need. So I don't do a bunch of other stuff at the gym, but you're certainly welcome to. If you're doing bench press, squats, deadlifts, overhead press, whatever it is, and you want to add kettlebells on top of that, your body's going to love you for it. So with that as the framework, this becomes a way of life, it becomes a commitment toward lifestyle and movement patterns, not just working out a particular muscle group, but a movement pattern of your whole body moving becomes how you want to be. Now let's talk about that equipment. What do you have available to you? Do you have a kettlebell somewhere? You probably don't accidentally have a Mace lying around the house, but you might have a sledgehammer in the garage. Clubs are kind of unique. I don't know anybody that has kind of a club just hanging out in a shed somewhere. So we'll talk about putting that together. Kettlebells are one of those things that some people have picked it up at one point but never did anything with it, and it's collecting dust, or it's a doorstop somewhere. So you might have something that you can use. The other thing is knowing that in our 50s, in our 60s, we as a group, anybody who's watching this video, me, you, our friends, we span the gamut of financial wherewithal, right? There are people in our 50s that are executive level that have made millions and millions of dollars and are set for life, and maybe even have, created a business, sold their business, and are already retired, living on the sale of their business. And that's great. So there are people that probably can look at that. If you've ever been on a website and you're looking at kettlebells and it says, do you want to add the collection, $1,800, boom, you can get all the weights. There are people that would do that and say, no problem. They can look at buying an adjustable kettlebell, an adjustable club, and an adjustable mace, having them all shipped. You spend $1,000 and boom, you've got an entryway in. And now you can fine tune the weights for any given thing. Most of us are not at that level. We're dropping $1,000, blink of an eye. Most people that I know that's would have to think about that, right? Some people I know, buying one of those things would be too much. They really have to plan for. So I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. I'm not here to say what you have to do. Your functional fitness program won't be successful unless you go buy this adjustable kettlebell set or this adjustable mace. That's not true. If you can go buy one thing, this is my single favorite kettlebell. It's the one that I use the most. And as I've grown in my program, I am starting to do some things that are heavier. This is a 12 kilogram, 26.5 pounds. It is Ethos, and they sell it at Dick's Sporting Goods. I looked online, and this kettlebell is $67 today online. I am 5'9", between 140 to 145. And that kettlebell, I could do a ton of work with that single kettlebell. If you are significantly bigger than me, if you're 6 feet, if you're 180, 190, 215, maybe you start with a heavier one. Maybe you start with a 35 or even a 40-pound kettlebell. But be careful about going too heavy. Swinging that thing around is much heavier than you think it's going to be. The 35-pound, 16-kilogram Ethos, which I also have, 16-kilogram, also an Ethos kettlebell. Same thing, Dick's Sporting Goods. I love that kettlebell. And that is $77. So if you can only buy one thing, can you, after shipping, that's going to probably be close to $100. If you can make that purchase, boom, you got a huge runway, and your next several months are covered, even your next year. I've been doing this for 4 years and I still use that 25-pound kettlebell a lot. So it doesn't take a lot of money to get off the ground. If you only have a sledgehammer and you want to get started with that, you can do Mace 360s. You could do a lot of the Mace work. Now, if it's only a 6-pound or an 8-pound sledgehammer, you're going to outgrow that pretty quickly. So depending again on what you have available, how much money you have. When I started out, I was very concerned about what if I buy the wrong thing. I agonized over whether I should buy a 10-pound club or a 15-pound club, and I just couldn't decide. What if I buy a 10 and it's too light and I'm just gonna be so mad at myself? What if I buy a 15 and I can't use it? I eventually bought an adjustable club just because I couldn't decide which one to buy. The reality is, buy one and get started. You can do your programming around whatever weight you have. If it's a little too light, you're gonna have to do more reps. You're gonna have to do slightly more complicated exercises. You're gonna learn how to use it a little bit better. If it's too heavy, you're gonna do shorter sets. You might only do 1 or 2 and then move into some two-handed stuff. There's not a right or wrong. We're talking about a runway to the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. What you do this month doesn't matter. Just get started. For those of you that really don't have the ability to drop $100 on a piece of equipment, let's talk about some other options. These sticks I bought at Home Depot. This is a 48-inch wooden dowel, and this is 1 1/4 inches diameter, which is my favorite size handle. And this was, I don't remember anymore, this is probably like $6. And I also got one in a 1-inch diameter. I wasn't sure exactly which one I was going to use at the time. I bought a couple of each. They are very, very inexpensive. I took this 1 1/4 one, cut it down at what I thought would be a reasonable club, threw it in some quick setting concrete, and I made a club. This handle feels perfect. This wood handle at 1 1/4, I love. And this thing's awesome. It's a little bit too light. I think this is 6 pounds, maybe 7 pounds, maybe even 5 pounds. If I had it to do over again, I want this to be bigger. If this was a 15-pound club, this would be my favorite thing in the world. And the fact that I made it myself, awesome. So you could certainly make this. Again, the pole was $5, $6, $7, and you could make 2 clubs out of it or 1 mace. And a bag of concrete was $10 maybe for a 50-pound bag. And you could make as many pieces of equipment as you want. Another option, I had some of these free weights sitting in the garage that have been there for years. I don't even have the equipment that these go with anymore, but I have a handful of weights sitting in the garage. And I took this, again, 1/4 pound staff and cut it down. I ordered some dumbbell collars online. So I think these were like $9 on Amazon. And here's another club, 5-pound weight. I like the 1 1/4 diameter better than the 1-inch diameter. But again, I don't trust these things. For some reason, I just feel like they're going to slip, but they haven't yet. So you could put 2 clubs on one side. You could put a nail. You could put a screw through here as a stopper. And then you could add as much weight as you want. This is a 5-pound club right now. I could add that other 5 and that 2.5 and have a 12.5-pound club just with what I had in the garage. So same concept, make the thing longer and you can have a mace. So what you get started with doesn't matter. You need to commit to the movement. You need to commit to, if you're doing kettlebell, you start with a swing, maybe you add a clean and press, but it's those full body movements. The club, what it does for your shoulder and for your ability to rotate is unlike anything else. And then the mace, it gives you the ability to move and stretch and open up parts of your bodies that you haven't used since you were probably in your teens. The actual piece of equipment that you use, you can add over time, right? Maybe you can put away $10, $20 a month into your equipment fund, right? And then when you get $100, buy a new piece, and then you start saving again. So over the course of time, as you get better at this, as your program gets more sophisticated, you keep adding pieces of equipment to it. Again, our income levels, our net worth, our ability to purchase equipment is all different. So work with whatever works for you, but do not feel like you have to have the perfect equipment before you get started. Don't feel like this is a straight line. I did 10 sets of 10 and now it's too light. I can't do anything else till I get the next piece of equipment. That's baloney. Make it more complicated, add more volume, shorten the rest cycle, do a continuous. Who says you had to do sets of 10, do sets of 20? Like, you can always make your program harder with the same weight. So that is all I got on that. I don't want anybody to have an excuse to get started, right? $10, $15, go make your own and start. And then start saving up for what comes next. You can have the best equipment in the world, but if you're not committed to doing this every day, and if you only do this for 20 minutes and then you sit in a chair the rest of the 23.5 hours the rest of the day, the guy that has his own homemade thing is going to do better than you, right? The goal is to embrace this and move and create your body moving as a way of life, so we have it for the next 30 years. I hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. I hope that helps with your decision. If you're like me, where it was paralysis by analysis, maybe this makes it easier for you to just punch the button, buy something, and go. Hit me up in the comments if you have any specific questions, and And I hope you're able to build a program as successfully as I did. Anything I can do to help, I would love to help. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Go get better.